Everything's good to go. Hey, set it on my OBS. Let's go back to here. Hey, he's there. Well, it's just taking a second to load in. Yeah, everything's good. Alright, as I was just saying. Alright, well, just repeat that just in case. As I am going to be using the video for uploading to YouTube. Again, so last time we imported the survival girl and we imported the advanced locomotion into our game, in this case for the YouTube stream, which is using the easy survival RPG kit. But as I said, it could be any template you're using. The whole purpose is to take the advanced locomotion system and a character and add the advanced locomotion system to said character and add that character to your blueprint class, whatever your blueprint class may be. In this case, again, we're adding the base character to the base character and the anim man to the blue player character. And again, the anim man has the base character just like the player character has the base character. Like it's the base to the base, and the higher up, the parented one of the base to the parented one of the other base. If you just have one character, like you don't have a base class, like when you look at your character and it is just the parent class is just character, it's when your character doesn't have another base class, and then add the ALS base character to your character, and then what you're going to do is you're going to duplicate the ALS NMM character and rename it to, you know, your player character, because that's going to be your new player character. And then you would migrate you wouldn't need to migrate that much stuff because you just duplicated it, so it's going to have all the information. But you should still have an actual player character with a base character, and again, the base will handle a lot of the logic as we were talked about before, which is a lot of the meat and potatoes, or the core variables and stuff. And this would just inherit all of the main class would just inherit all those, and the main class will handle things like the inputs, and it'll actually hold like the actual meshes, that a lot of the dynamic stuff they're changing on the fly in the game. So like like if you have custom meshes to change out the looks of the characters, that's going to be all handled in the child class here. The parent class will be will hold all the variables and all the functions and everything like that. Alright, and what we did after we imported the class, we did the animations by making sure the skeletons were the same. And once we made sure the two skeletons were the same, we retargeted this animation blueprint to our character skeleton, and so that they had all the animations transformed. Once that was done, we moved to starting from the bottom up, moving all the variables over from the ALS to the base character. Then we did the macros, then we did the interfaces, and then we did the methods, and then we ran out of time. And with all that, it actually took the full 2 hours, because it is a lot of stuff. So starting today, because we've done all the I was gonna say all the stuff, except I don't think I did the construction script, but it seems like it's not even connected. So that means, yeah, since we hit everything, just like last time, we're probably going to start from the bottom up, and we're going to start doing the event graphs today. And once we're done the event graphs, we've already done, we could double check the components, but they should be good. But then we'll move on to the actual characters here, starting from bottom up on the variables, and then after that's in the variables and the macros and the functions. And if we get all that done today, we're going to be able to test, make sure everything stays and works. We won't have any of these kind of yellow arrows here. And I do, just in case, I imported a vault animation. So I just want to get most of the locomotion kind of moving, and that way I could show you guys how to add another mode of movement to a character if you want it to be. Alright, so Let's just see if anybody's here. Not yet. We have one viewer. Alright. Hey everybody. And yeah, welcome to my stream. So, needless to say, if I see any notes pop up, I'll be checking every now and then. I still only have one monitor, sadly. But once I get a second, I'll be able to see your chat and everything. I'll have it off to the side. Alright. So, starting with network. We'll open up the graph. I made a network graph already. We only have a couple things in it. So yeah, just like before, we could probably we'll start here. Yeah, we'll just do like a book. These things should be just simple as copy paste. Let's move over here, paste, and that's why we'll just bring this guy up. I like to line it up. Nice. OCD. Where that's actually placed doesn't matter. It's just me liking to be able to find stuff later. Alright, this one whole side down, nice and simple. We'll go into the next one. Alright, network. Replicated jump. Again, so when we copy over, we'll just do this one right here for replicated jump. When we copy this guy over, we're going to lose that client on jump. Cancel. Client on jump. Maybe I should have started with the event graph. No, it's going to call back and forth between each other. So we're going to need to throw this client on jump into our event graph before we can move that over. So event graph, we're gonna have to find a nice spot for our ALS stuff. So I'm just gonna go over here, and lucky all our ALS stuff is gonna be, once we get the nodes in, they're gonna be nice and colorful. As you can see, it's gonna be, we're gonna be adding these this is how we document code. This is like a comment section. We're gonna be adding the pink comments. If you ever want to change the color, it's just like right here. You can literally select whatever color you want. I'm gonna leave it their color here. That's pretty different, and that's all they're doing is just changing the color for each of these comment boxes, so it's easy to identify what's what. And then you could use multiple comment boxes like this and just shape them to do different things like an arrow. That's so they're just pointing out stuff that they need to do here. That was a beep. Did somebody message me? Oh, nope. Just saying I'm going live. Yep, there's a little delay. I know I'm live. Oh, that was the beep. Oh, thanks for the follow. Sweet. Normally I'm supposed to get like a pop-up here. It says somebody followed me, but I'm not that advanced into the Twitch stuff yet. Oh, there it is. Thanks for the follow, Mike. Alright. So now we should be able to get that replicated jump, but like I was saying here, we're gonna have a problem with that is local, I'm sure. Once I copy this, we go over to this side, we pop them in here. What do you mean? We have the client on jump. Don't we? Didn't we put that in? Did I paste it back into its own event folder? I was talking, but I was sure. Did I? Oh, I put it in the wrong one. Silly me. Alright. Oh, I lagged out there. I double pasted it. Control Z. There we go. So now we have it we have it in the base class. I put it in the character class by accident, in the actual child class instead of the parent class. I accidentally clicked over here. That'll be fine. We'll save that after. Alright, so now we go back to network. And we try this for a third time. Third time's the charm, right? That's how it always goes. And so network. Let's close some of these tabs again. Like, remember last time I said because we're constantly opening things, they'll pop up. They'll get filled pretty quickly, as you've seen they did. Hopefully we stay to a minimum this time around. Alright, we want it right here. Boom, see? And like I was saying before, you gotta keep an eye on when you're pasting stuff over. Because as we could see here, we lost that macro for is local. And I guess for people who don't know, the is locally controlled, it's just this is a C++ class made by Unreal that just checks if the controlling player is like a server player is local on the device. Good for if you're like to check if the player is part of the server or when you're doing split screen or something. Yeah, it's not a client. It's not somebody for multiplayer replication. It's not somebody that's out there. And it just takes that value, and this macro is going to return true or false. And because it's a macro, it does it like once. It's not like functions repeatable or kind of thing. It'll only execute once per tick. So we will go back to our, we'll close this, go back to our networking, and we're going to grab this is local. Now we want to double check, and this is coming off from the false, so only if it's a client are we going to do the client jump, right? Which makes sense. We don't want to do it when it is local, when it's true, it's on the server, and we don't want to do that. That's why this is the replicate jump. It's replicating the jump to all the clients out there. Alright, now we need break fall. Again, we're gonna have to get this class first, and it's probably gonna have the same problem with the is local. We're gonna get used to that because every time we get to that, it's gonna be messed. Because this method is actually here, we can't copy and paste it all at the same time, or else it'll cry that hey, you don't have multi break fall. So then it goes to here. But this actually is probably another class to the event class. Yeah, to the event graph. So we're gonna have to again copy this. This feels like these are all events on jump event, break fall event again. By the looks of it, we will probably need all of this. Every time we go down, we're going to run into the same problem. We're going to go to the roll section, and the roll section is going to be like, we need the roll event, which is a custom event. So let's just try to copy this nice pink thing here, and we'll go into our event graph again on this side, maybe right here in this nice blank area. We'll paste that there, and we'll drag that underneath, because it is underneath a couple of them. There should be two things later on above it, so we'll drag that down to about here and I'll line this up within that nice little square area. Okay, so now if we go back to the network, we try to get this break fall. We should be able to post that over here in the network. But again, it won't have that is local because my macros do not paste over. That's fine, we have ours, and most likely again it's going to be is false. Check that to confirm, because we only want it doing it that when the client's not there. So now we'll take the actual documentation, or sorry, comment code with it this time. We'll make this nice and neat. I like to line it up with the lines here. Again, it doesn't affect anything, it's just preference. It's up to you on how you want to do your things. Sometimes I like to try to keep things a little bit neater and tidy when I'm doing things. Alright. So should be, so we got On this side, jump and break fall. Not too sure why there's a gap there. Did I copy something over before? Am I missing something? Mantle. I don't remember changing the blueprint at all, because I'm pretty sure I started off with basic classes. So when we are playing the game, or if we notice that something's not replicated, we will put it in there. I don't know how much multiplayer testing I'm going to be doing. So we did all this. We did these two now. This should be the last one. This is casting this. We should have already actually had some mantle in there because we did use the mantle start before. Oh, never mind. This is silly me. I'm in my class. I'm not in the right class. Alright, so we should be able to do the roll now. Just wondering why there's a weird gap. So this is probably going to get moved down a little bit. Because we had to do the mantle before. And again, switch to this local. Because this is a replication to the client. We only want to do it when the client's there. And now that we have that, we're going to get the comment code and the comment box with it. We're going to paste that there. Line it up so it's nice and neat. And line it up there. Alright. I'll also bring this in. Now we go back over here. We're on the... Oh, we actually are on the mantle. So the mantle we did do already. That's because we did this function earlier on. Which is fine. Pull this in a bit. I want to put that there. Alright. And again, it's on false because it's a client. Alright, there you go. That's pretty neat. And again, even with these guys, if you wanted to kind of tidy this up, you could double click. It makes like what's called a remote node. And you could organize a little bit more of where your lines are and how they look. So you can move them so they're not in the way and they go around stuff. There's also something you could buy from the marketplace that helps like make the lines like bend and go straight better, and so they're not so curvy. There's like an actual like, and it's better when you're putting one node under another node. It just goes straight down and over instead of like when you try to put. I'll just show you a quick example here. When you try to put it underneath, you see how they like do this weird wavy kind of bend. Once you buy that thing from the plug-in from the marketplace, it just makes it straight, like straight lines. So it just makes straight and then 90-degree turns. All right, mantle is done. So we got Ragdoll, and I think we did one of the Ragdolls already as well. Yeah, we had to do the Ragdoll server location. Alright, so that's this one. This is a multicast, so we want to get that one out of the way. Control C, Control V, and again the multicast is to a client. So we're going to take this and add the false, and then there should be another multicast, sorry. And so we're going to put that over here. Again, is local. Look that up. It's for the Ragdoll. Now the Ragdoll, by the way, might not work. Just to what you're going to do is look at the physics asset of your model, and set the weights accordingly. I might do a video on that if that's requested later on. But Ragdoll, you're really only, some people use it when people die. When you shoot them, you want the body to kind of like Ragdoll to look more realistic when it's death. But you could just play a death animation. But if so, I don't know if we're going to be using the Ragdoll fully. I do have death animations, tons of different death animations, but we could use the Ragdoll if that's what the community wants to go with. So we'll keep that in the note. But so we're going to take this. I'm going to hit Control here. I'm also going to take those. Control C. And just bring this down. Control V. Move these guys out of the way. Move this out of the way, and we're just tidy this up again. And this is the network done, I believe. We'll do one last take just in case. I might actually move this down to here just because it's too close to the other one. Multicast, that goes this guy here. Should be fine to put beside each other. What's going on? Multitask for roll. That's this. Oh, I'll keep them together actually. So, end roll, end roll. This is start roll and start roll. And again, you could switch this depending on your animations just to be like roll instead of having end and start. But I think they had broken it up in multiple different animations because there is getting out of roll at the end roll that gets played, an animation for like standing up. That standing up animation's not a part of the roll animation. The start roll though does have in the roll animation the person does go down into the roll, but sometimes you might actually need to add an extra one called middle roll for if it's just like you just have a roll in animation where he doesn't actually go into the roll, he just it's just a rolling animation. Then you'll need one for starting where he goes down, and then one for rolling, and then one for when he's out of the roll and getting up. Or again, if you have an animation that does all three, you just need one of these, and you can just call it like on Ragdoll roll. I know rolling, I was kind of like describing it as like an actual roll, but like Ragdolling. To go into Ragdoll, they just disable the physics and stuff like that. But and to come out of it, there's different get up animations where you could have it all done in one if you have it. But I don't. It's all up to you for those kind of things when you're doing replication. Alright. We'll just tidy that up there. Compile. And so I think that's it. We did this side first, and then we made our way down. That's all there is. Double check. Yep. So we're on to the next graph here. Player input graph. So this is going to be important for all of our movement and stuff. I think they put their input graph here for their movement. Which is fine. You could put it in either or location. This is, let's check their input. What? Oh. That's because they are just doing still basic movement for their input graph here. And so that'll be, so whether you put the input graph in your base character or your main characters, not too important. It's really preference onto you. for this, I think I'm gonna put it into the hierarchy child kind of class, just for testing. This is where he does the actual it's a suicide, so the player kills himself. This is where he actually does the ragdoll. Just so you would take this out during when you actually do build of the game. You wouldn't want them unless you were playing like a certain MMO where you're worried that the player could get stuck. This is where you'd have that button that allows your player to commit suicide if he gets stuck in some spot where they can't get out. Yeah, I think. Well, this is where I was doing that crouch animation from before. I know it just looks like I'm organizing, but I was thinking at the same time, because I want to kind of find a nice spot to put this. So we will be changing out some of these animations. Alright. Oh yes, just in case if you guys weren't tracking, Unreal Engine 5 just came out with a new preview. So it switched from early access to early preview. So it will be coming out soon, which is exciting, because then that means great. Like, I'll be able to definitely do some great movements on the game stuff, and we'll be able to get into there. So we're going to move swim down here. Right there, yes. Pop up. Dive. Move it over here. And again, you could do something that's all like vertical or this or that. I just prefer to have them kind of going like a book left to right. And so I try to keep them in sectioned off from each other. So all of the advanced locomotion system stuff is going to try to be more closer to each other than. So all the advanced locomotion stuff is going to be on the right here, and then all the stuff that's a part of Easy Survival Game or whatever you did is going to be on the left. And then my custom code like this here, I just put underneath it all on a big, so it's going to take a big area down here. Again, that's organizing the nodes is all up to you. It's nice and simple, just kind of straight lines here. But I think for this tutorial, we are going to move this into the actual player class, so all the inputs are in the same kind of area. Start off with the movement inputs, forward and backwards. Go over here, paste forward and backward movement inputs. Now we want to use the advanced locomotion stuff, and I'm also going to change the color to, like, I don't know, blue, so I know it's different. We want to use the advanced locomotion movement, so this is forward and back, so we're going to be taking the forward and back here. We don't want it executing this, so because we don't want to move twice. So normally I would duplicate this forward and bring it over, but we don't want to leave this here. So since I don't want to leave this here, I'm just going to actually take it from that spot, and we're going to bring our forward in. Now same with our right, we're going to break this link, and we're going to bring this over. There you go. Yep. Alright, so that is one down. Movement is done. Now we need camera. Control C. And we're doing it over here. Control V. Again, I'm going to change this to some sort of blue. And look up, look left. And that's the actual looking camera, not the viewing camera. So that's, again, this, but we don't want to do, it'll be moving rapidly if we use this one. So we're going to want to break these links here. We're going to want to bring these over to our looking camera. So look up and down is actually here, and turn left and right is there. So we're going to hook the access value to that. Hook that there. And delete that. Slot that in. Hook that there. Hook that value there. Delete that. Slot that in. Alright, file. Now we're going to go to the jump action. And as you can see, when he's jumping, it's going to be doing, it's going to do a mantle check as well, to see if it can climb on a wall or stuff like that. And that's where we're going to be adding our vaulting in later. If it's grounded, if it's in the air, if it's in Ragdoll, that's where you're going to be checking. So we're going to take this jumping code here, Control C. We're going to go back to the player here, Control V. Now we should have our own jump. Yep. And we don't want to double activate, double use jump. We don't want them to jump twice. And also we're going to set this back to a blue, so it is different. And I'm going to tidy it up at the same time. So when it's releasing, it's not going to jump anymore. It is going to jump. We're going to bring this up. We're going to, now that it's attached, delete that. I'm going to bring this in line. And this is what I'll talk about, those rewrote nodes. See how it's going through this entire thing? That's where it's kind of nice sometimes to just have the rewrote nodes so you could easily see where things are going. So I'm going to just drop that down here, drop that over here, make one more so I can kind of easily see the path of where that is coming from. Set this guy over here, and you can see how sometimes you get quite hectic with the nodes all over the place, and that's where the reroute nodes and stuff can come in pretty handy. Let's we're gonna actually switch this back to just fall. Remember I had told you guys last time, whenever you copy a whole graph over, it will always oh, I see what I did there. Because it's a graph inside a graph, so when I hit move, it's just I would just go back. Yeah, whenever you copy a graph over, it always adds 2, like an underscore 2 to it for some reason. I'm not too sure why that is. It's just an engine thing. There you go. It's a little bit neater. Jump. Jump. Alright. So jump is done. Stance, like I said, which is annoying, it's crouch. And obviously, you see that we have another macro here. And it's a macro that's not a part of a separated graph. So when we drag this stance over, I could see at least that disappearing. So that's fine. Oh, where else do we get the character? One or all objects cannot be copied or pasted. I see. And just like last time, I'm going to set this to blue. And then I'm also going to bring these up to the top. I don't like them in the middle and then having branches going up and down. Like just having top and going sideways and then down, like the tree down. So that was a multi-tap, because when you double tap the crouch button, you will roll. So that was a macro. We do not have that macro set up. So we're going to go back here. We're going to go to macros. We're going to copy, which again you could do Control C. We're going to go to our macros, and we're going to paste macro in there. And again, when you're looking at the macros, it has functions in them that might not also copy over, like the retriggerable delay here. So make sure you double check when you're doing macros. Always double check that it actually is copying over properly. 0.2, nope, that's because this is connected. And again, this is another one of those times where it's going through the pin, so if you wanted to try to make it neater, you could do that. But in this case, it's so nightmarish, it'd be really hard to just, you'd have, even when you're doing remote nodes, it'll be kind of hectic. What you could do is you could do branch offs, and sometimes I like to do that. So I would have a pin here, and it would go there, and then I would come down to here and replace that pin, and then I'd break that there and add another pin here, drag that over. Because it is the same variable, it should be fine to just break that off there. And when I come down here, then I could replace that pin, and now you're already having less lines coming in. I could move this like up here, I have another pin here, and then try to break this one off down here. And see that it's not quite where I want it. Maybe, yeah, maybe it's just another pin I need right there. And that's how you can try to tidy it up. So I don't know if it looks better, but again, that's all preference. It's up to you guys on what you do there. Input action, stance action. Right, because we didn't get the full macro over. So, yep, that's multi-tap for the crouch. So we go back to our inputs now. We should have our multi-tap for crouch. Double check how they did that for their player input. So on none, when there's no action movement, so he's not mantling, he's not already mantling, he's not already rolling, and he's not getting up from his ragdolling or something, then if he could do the double tap. And if you double tap, then, or if it's just one press, it will do a crouch, but if it is a double tap, it will do the roll event. So we'll go back here. We'll do none. There's a time reset. Let's see if they actually have, yeah, they have 0.3 on the time reset here. That's like a slight delay on when it can check again, because some people just will spam buttons nonstop. So that's just saying like what kind of delay you want to kind of do if somebody just like constantly smashing the keyboard. So if it's 0, it'll be checking like every second. It could be bad on performance that way. So it's always nice. Do I want it that close? No, I think I'm gonna spread it out a bit. Put that there. Put that there. And just expand this. And we'll go down like that. Crouch and uncrouch. Desired stance. If he's in fall, so again, if he's in a fall and you tap the button, it's going to break the fall, like a kind of like a roll effect. You don't break your legs and take damage. Now, some of that's depending on the system you have. Some of that actually break fall damage is coded. So this break fall damage would have to be on your side if you actually didn't, say if you didn't tap the button and you actually wanted fall damage. This wouldn't do that. I probably won't even prevent damage right now because this is separate. What it's going to do is it's going to roll. But if you have your game set up to do fall damage, it will still deliver that fall damage after a certain height, unless you set it up that one if break fall when you go to check if the fall damage is there, because we have this break fall boolean set up in the actual base class. So both main character and the base character have this boolean. If when you're doing the fall damage, if he checks the fall damage and the break fast is true, then you could do take no fall damage. But that's a coding that's not going to be a part of the adding the LS, the advanced locomotion system. That's wherever you're doing the fall damage code. And so since that will greatly change project to project, I won't be showing that off. And again, this is actually crouch and roll, so I would I don't have it named stance action. I'm gonna have it named crouch roll. And I do actually have our own little tested crouch roll down here. So we're not going to just play Jesse's NM anymore, where I was just testing to show off that the advanced locomotion does work. We are going to do this crouch here on press. Alright, I'm just going to check the thing. Oh, no problem, dog. Thanks. Yep. First time viewer. Thank you. Alright, yeah, it's just Discord stuff. Yeah, and if you have any thoughts or questions, don't forget to drop me a message in the Discord or in on the comments on YouTube, or again, just message me on stream or whatever, and I will get back to you as soon as possible, of course, and try to answer it. If I can't answer it right away, I'll just answer it right away. If I can't, I'll get back to you. So yeah, sprint walk. Walk is more like an RP walk. Most people like. So this walk is slow, like on normal, like you would be moving. You would not normally be walking. So there's a walk action to actually, like in most games, like they call it role playing walk, because it's super slow. Nobody wants to actually move at that speed. But if there's some reason you did, maybe you added some sort of stealth mechanic in your game, that's just showing you how to do the walking. Or maybe you have breakable. Another place that I remember seeing it is like a game that had breakable ground, like ice, and if you run on the ice, then you kind of crack and fall through. See, like he does this branch thing where he goes up. I don't really like that too much, but I don't have enough room, I think, to keep that there. Because even if I bring it down, it's still going to be right across, so I'm going to bring this down again. And then I'm also going to change this to blue. Now, has authority. I don't think we lost anything there this time, though. Nope. Looks pretty good to me. So, this is walk. Do I have? we don't have a walk action. I do not believe so. Again, if you want to see what inputs you did, if you forgot for some reason, you just go to Project Settings, Inputs. And again, this is where you set your controllers. So building, modifications, maybe you put left bumper for your controller, diving. If circle is like your crouch and stuff like that, then maybe yeah, I might put it as your crouch or when you go on your stomach, and square is your jumping. To dive down would be circle, and to pop up would be square. Again, that's really up to you on how you want to do that. But what we're looking for is a walk anim, and we do not have a RP walk, so we could add that action mapping here. We're gonna call it walk, I guess. Shoot, I don't even know what key we're gonna use. You don't want to hit a key that's could be used somewhere else. Tab is usually for menus. Control. Left Alt. O is for pause, backup pause button. We'll try N. I think N is a key that's not really used. So as you're so limited with controller buttons, I find controllers a lot faster for a lot of buttons. But since you're limited with controller buttons, I'm not too sure if you'd add walk on your controller as a main thing. So, but we have walk now, and we could test it. You could put walk action, but I don't. I call that they're actions, so I don't like the for redundancy. Like these are functions. I don't like calling like functions. Like check sprint function. I don't like adding function again because you know it's a function. It's just redundant. So I don't add action to my actions. You could, again, that's completely preference. Just like variables, I don't call like my hunger or my thirst variable. I know it's a variable. I don't repeat it, but I have seen it done where people add or they add prefixes or suffixes. So like thirst v for thirst variable, thirst f for thirst function. I don't know what the thirst function would be, but that way they do that, and I do kind of do that for meshes, and that's the only time I really do that because there's just so many of them. So like when I have a blueprint of a fence, I will do a prefix of BP fence. That's because I'll also have a static mesh for a fence, and those probably going to be more than one fence, and so it could get quite hectic if I didn't do that then. So in ours, we have one already that we don't want to double up, and that is sprint swim. Now we're gonna have to dive into this later. And all it does is check and give this get server should sprint. All it does is setting a boolean that it should sprint. That's all should sprint does. So it's calling should sprint and sets it to false, and then it just sets the replication. So the actual sprinting and the fast swimming is done somewhere in the base character. Sometimes you just have to refresh nodes. It got confused for something. So that's what those error were. I was confused. And this is because we haven't added that timeline yet. That timeline I did look afterwards. It is in the begin play kind of section, I believe. Or no, the timeline's just in the actual event graph. It's just event graph. It's dead center. Time. Yeah, it's right here. This is the timeline. So this is why we couldn't add that. So we could add that now, just so that error's gone. So we grab this timeline here. We're gonna put it to our base character. This is the event graph. So we're gonna go to the event graph, and so attributes. I might just drag that over here somewhere. And so we have a nice empty spot here. Boom. And now when we compile here, that timeline's there. But we actually want to rename this timeline to mantle timeline. I think. Once you get, yeah, mantle's timeline, because it has a T, like a capital, it will actually automatically space it out for us. Did it just, oh, yeah, because it has a capital. Does it not have, no, it's lowercase l. So lowercase l. And so when we recompile this and save, so this error here, we're gonna have to do this change to the ALS component manager. This is actually in the component manager of the advanced locomotion system. When you go into this pre-component, it's setting a character, but it's specifically setting an ALS based character. But we're gonna want to use it with our base character, so we're just gonna change it to character base character, BP character base. Click. Change all the variables. Now it's going to scan through to see what other changes it has to do, because there's a couple of times that it's actually being used. So usually I never have any problem with this, so should be good. Just take it sweet pimp time with that 100%. And so now this is not going to like that, because this input is taking the input of a base, the locomotion character. What we're going to want to do, character base again, BP character base, BP character base, compile. Still searching. Alright. So we can refresh. Let's just set that there. Compile. So we're just gonna link these up here. Link. Link. And we just changed all those. So yeah. changed all those, so that should be fine. I'm just going to close this. Alright, but now our actual, when we go compile this, this guy will actually not work anymore because he will complain about that character thing. So you can't, the component manager will only ever work with one base character. We should be able to pull out our component manager now. And our self, so we'll get a reference to self. And the target is the component manager, so we want to get the component manager's pre-initialized component. And we're going to kind of stretch that out there so we see which one is number 6. And we're going to hook that up. And it just attached from that guy, so we know we got the right one. And again, so our self is what we're going to use. And this is actually just used for the camera. So if you're not using the camera, again, this is not so important. But now we do not have any of those there. We got some stuff here. We'll continue on, and these should go away. Capsule. Oh. So sometimes that happens when you're copying stuff over. Get capsule. We're getting the capsule right here, and then so just for neatness of code, we they allow us to just get the actual variables from here. But sometimes when you copy over, it's like it doesn't see these inputs and it just cries. It gets a little upset. And again, one of the things you could do, and as you've seen multiple times before, I could just drag this off and hook it up to there. But since you're using these variables sometimes more often down the line down here, some people don't like that because you have tons of lines streaming forever. So, target, usually at the bottom, target location. So we want it at the top, we want it here. Now this is empty. Control W, capsule. Control W, radius offset. I'm still upset about something somewhere. More of those things. Mantle height and mantle type, which we'll probably be getting from, yep, here. So again, having the lines come from here all the way up here is a little bit annoying. Mantle type. But again, it didn't save. Mantle. Can't type. Height. We'll move this up so I can kind of see what it's attaching to here. Now that they've broken off, we know we got the right ones. LWS. LWS. I don't think I have one of those. Mantle. Can't type again. Mantle, ledge, LWS, and so we'll hook that up there, and then I will Control W, and then I'm going to right click, and I got my graphical glitch. I knew that. So I will come back and do this a bit later. Last video I had mentioned that near the end. The more I right click, the more I have a chance of getting that graphical glitch error where I actually can't see what my options are. I can't actually see. I just see, like right now, I see grass, some sand, and water. And I'm sure if I tab over to my stream, does your ALS... Yo, does ALS replicate? Ah, hey friend. Not by default. Let me link that in here. Not too sure. I should be able to get the... This is the Advanced Locomotion Discord. Is there a way to invite? Invites are disabled. To add a friend to the server, ask someone to with invite permissions to help. All right. Yeah, if I get like your like Discord name, I guess I could put it in to the general chat to get you added. But you could get it from these guys. It's a link. Blueprint. Sometimes they drop the link in here quickly and just scrolling up. Should be safe for work, so I shouldn't scroll into something bad in here. It's just... This is the blueprint version too. And they'll also give you all the help and stuff that you can need here. Come on. So much help stuff. Should have probably, now I feel like an idiot, should have probably just controlled F'd it. Control F. Guides. Tutorials, welcome announcements. Let's see, yeah. Replication. There we go. Well, I got a black screen. Alright, GitHub replication. Copy. And we'll go back to stream. Hey. So that link will bring you to GitHub where you could get the replicated version of ALS. This link will bring you to the GitHub where you can pick up the replicated version. yeah, if you have any more questions and stuff, just let me know. I got a black screen here. I gotta save Unreal and reopen it, sadly. So I'm gonna just save all. I really hope I don't get this graphics glitch in Unreal 5. And again, they got the preview coming up here, so it should be coming up soon. But once I get the graphics glitch, it affects everything. I actually can't see stream. I don't know if stream went. I can double check OBS here. No, stream should still be up. It's just I got black screens all over the place. So does that help? Smiley face. Oh, hopefully I didn't miss them. So we're just gonna save here, close it, reopen it. Like even right now when I'm saving, a lot of people said they can't see it, but this is flickering. Like it's just solid black. I can see the 75%, 95%, 4%, sorry, pop up every now and then, but it's they said it has to, like when I try to Google it and try to look into it, they all say it has to do with my graphics card, to update my graphics card. I keep it up to date. I am constantly updating it. I say that, and it's a new update available. Got me. I'll do that update because it probably has a download. I'll do that after stream. Close this for a second. Open up the Epic Store library. But it's still free either way. Whether you pick up the advanced locomotion from the Unreal Engine store or you're getting it from the replicated version, the advanced locomotion is free, so it's nice. It's just like adding that realism character to your game. Right, the YouTube stream. That's what I was doing. YouTube stream today. The project back open. See what's going on. And thanks for popping in the stream. Thanks for the follow, eh? Thanks for the follow and popping in. Oh, that's why. Sweet. See, I got my video back. You can see everything again. Pop it in. And I will be able to do stuff in Unreal again. Open the last 4 assets I was working on. And right, so sometimes you have a pin here and you just want the transformation. You could right click and you could split this pin. So now I can get the transformation from that. Bam. Same with vectors, right? So this was probably, you could get a vector out of this and you could just split that vector. This is actually a multiplication, but so that's bad time to is this complaining about here? Oh, I was complaining about the same thing, just not often used. Alright. We'll keep going with those. So debug type. Debug type. And I will be uploading these to this video to YouTube. It's gonna be two long videos so far. I was hoping to get more done. The first one was like 2 hours, but like this is to fully get advanced locomotion into any game really. Alright, on any character. That's what the 2 videos are supposed to be in one straight shot, and I couldn't find anything specific. I wish I could do it faster. I think if I go through the videos and I cut out any hum and ha's and stuff like that, I could make it a little bit faster, but blend in, so it's probably at the front. Yep, blend in. Blend in. Use the offset. It's right there. I almost feel like just grabbing it and just throwing it in, to be honest. So it's just, especially if that's the only one. It's the opposite again. Again, I'll just grab it and throw it in, because that's the only one. Like, certain times I feel like the person spent more time to just add that in than hooking it up. Like this here, just hook up the curve. Because there is no variable for it, so doing that. Just bring this back, put that in there. The more times I right click, the more times I have a chance of getting that weird bug that just my computer has. Hopefully, maybe when I do this graphics card update, it'll fix that. So, oh, you got stuck on that. Move right. Move right. Move forward. Again, this is just preference on how people want to decorate trace settings. This one deserves it. I will definitely do trace settings. That is not a line I want to be dragging. There's more than one. Let's drag that guy down here. Whoop. Trace settings. Well, get debugs. Do we have another one yet? Did we do any of them? No. So, debug type. Debug type. Slot it in here. Delete. W. I'll need that guy for later. And I'll throw this guy here. This guy, plug in, delete, Control W. I need this one more time. I want to actually grab it. Debug type, throw it in there, delete, compile, target. Oh, more. Oh, this is definitely just he's already dragging the other values. I'm not too sure why. Oh, I just forgot to. That was probably me then. Already dragging the other variables. Interpolate speed, constant in there. Yeah, that's probably me, and I just left those variables there. Delta rotation. There's two of them. I'll just still do it. And I'll just break it here. And then put it down. Like, I don't find that messy. I don't think. Oh, that's really far. Okay, you are allowed to get. You're allowed to get. There we go. Another one. Gate. It's tripping out down there. Let's get that fixed. Interpolate speed. Interp speed. Just not too sure if there's a faster way of doing this, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. Ooh. hit whoa. Mantle. Get mantle height. That's gonna go here and here. Get target transform. It's gonna go here and here. Get hit component. It's gonna go here and here. Get mantle type. It's gonna go here and here. So these four are no longer used. These guys replace them. And again, you can see how quickly we build up all this, these stupid tab nodes again. So I'm going to close a bunch of them down so we can actually see what we're doing once again whenever we need to do stuff. So we should be back into the event graph at some points because we did not finish that up. Oh, nothing there. Oh, so yeah. We probably saved that guy. And now we don't have any errors so far. We'll continue on with our movement of lines. And we're almost getting to a point where we could actually test and see the movement of things. Especially since right now we're actually putting the movements in. But remember, we still haven't done the event graph, which holds the ticks, so a lot of things would not be saving. Action, and remember, now this is sprint, fast, swim, I think. Yeah, sprint, fast, swim. So we have sprint, fast, swim. But since we want to take out this here. Since this is just adding a boolean, it does no harm. I might actually throw this in with this stuff here, because it might help us later on with the swimming stuff, make things a little bit easier. Do I need to move all this? No, I think I just need to move this. So it's print. Should it sprint? Yes, it should sprint. Or no, it shouldn't sprint. Space this out a little bit. Maybe we'll do the one line. Well, alright, so now we got the sprint in, and let's go back to the player input, and we were working on, this is just a second unused hold sprint action, or double tap to sprint. So there's a couple of games that have that, where you want to double tap in order to sprint instead of the hold to sprint. I keep this because sometimes I set it up in the menu And what I will do is I will have action sprint, fast sprint, and then instead of have held release, I'll have pressed and I'll have held released, but then I'll have a boolean that relates back to the menu item, and the boolean will be is double tap, or maybe I'll have like in the actual UI, I say, do you want to double tap to sprint or hold the sprint as like an option in the UI. I could even set it like an enum, so it's just like this here. And if the player picked the double tap, then I'll set if the enum is double tap, then to do this code here. But then if it's hold, to do that code there, and that way the player has the option and whether to do the double tap or not, because it's really about the player and what their preference is, not so much what I believe all the time. Again, I like to make the games with the community and not just everything myself. So let's just double check here. Alright, it's not attached, but this is what we're missing. Multi-tap 0.03. And that was over here, so we need the multi-tap 0.03. We're going to break this line. So yeah, he has held, released and held. They're still the same. So first press is running. Second press is sprinting for the double tap. And sometimes I will put this actual reset timer in like a value for how spaced up the double tap is in the menu options as well. So then some people want like a longer delay if they just can't hit the space bar that fast. They want it a little bit. Some people just for people who have disabilities and stuff, or compartment syndrome or something. Yeah, they can't hit the double tap that fast, so they could set their own kind of level of how long they want it before it actually double taps. And we'll also set this to blue because it is that. And I actually put this behind the other sprint because it's sprint and sprint, it's the same thing. And just so we remember. So instead of having it stacked one on the other, this is camera. I will, for the sake of showing you that it works, I will copy and paste it over, but I will not be setting the camera. So this is setting the camera as it moves, as you turn. There's two different styles of looking. Turning with velocity, so the camera actually gets a set velocity in which it moves, or turning with just your look at location, where it just moves with the mouse, period. It doesn't have a velocity. The velocity direction gives it more like a kind of like a slower, realistic kind of movement instead, and that comes with the camera from the advanced locomotion system if you want to use that camera. Why some people don't use their camera is because their camera is a camera manager. It's a one camera does all system. You can still blend space to other cameras and then blend space back to the advanced locomotion system camera, but I just prefer just having a camera for whatever thing. So if I have a camera, sometimes you have a camera on each character, like NPC character, for dialogue where it goes in front of, and so when you're talking to somebody, the camera pans and it like shows that character from the front of you, or the character and to just have either moving the advanced locomotion camera all over the place, which is, it actually has its own blend space and all that stuff. It's pretty heavy for a camera, or just swapping to a light camera that's sitting in the world. I just prefer to swap. I don't think I'll use the camera, but just in case if you do, it is there. Sprint action, right, does not exist. We will just duplicate this and bring that over there just in case, so we don't forget that that's what that is. It's a sprint setting there. All right. I'm just gonna double check to see if anybody got back to me. No, it's okay. Everybody's still just watching or listening in on the video. Again, I don't know how to make it more interesting. So sometimes tutorials are just like that. I try to do the best I can. Aiming has to do a lot with the camera again, but you could just set in your own aiming. I will be doing a tutorial at some point of. I'm going to be using another pack, an Unreal pack, because I have so many. But I'm going to go over the Unreal pack to show how you would be inputting your own camera, in a sense, for aiming. Because I'm not even using this, I'm going to put this as, like, yellow over here. We're getting pretty down low here, so I think I'm going to start back at the top. And paste aim up here. So in mine, it is actually hotbar sub action is my right click. I know, it's a mouthful. That's just the easy survival RPGs naming convention for that. I could change it, but it also just works with the kit. It makes sense because it is using whatever you have set up in your hotbar. That's what it's going to be doing the action of, or the sub action of that hotbar. So if you have a shovel, maybe it's like a hit the person with the shovel compared to digging with the shovel. Whatever that sub action that you have set up, that's what that does on that hotbar, whatever your hotbar you have selected is. So it makes sense with this game, and that's what the right click does. Yes, you can aim with the right click, but it's not its main designated function. It's like a sub function of what it actually use it for. Speaking of that, because it also is an actual main thing, a lot of these here, just to go over, hopefully I'm not coming up with too much jargon here, but a lot of these have, when you click on this, consume input and override parent and stuff like that. So if you have that input being called in multiple places, it won't actually work. Whatever is the hierarchy will take over. In this case, I believe the controller will take over, because I think the player controller is higher in the chain of command. So we would still want to put that actually in the player controller class, not in my case. You'd want to put it in the player controller class. Not the character. But I'm not using this camera. But you could see here, you're going to need to get the desire in the view mode, and you need to get that from the character. So you should manage your component. So it looks like this guy contacts the character through a manager component. Does he have references to the manager component? Let's get a copy of the manager component and see if in the manager component it has the character. Get player character. now you should be able to get view with target, set blue target with this blend. Now is that, go under a base character, we go to those there we go, view mode. It is not public. You have to make it public. Well, and is it the desired gate that we're looking for here? The desired rotation mode. So we go back to this, the desired rotation mode. Desired rotation mode is actually already public. So now, with this being public, if we compile here, go here, we go view sit. That's how we would do it. We would set the view mode. We wouldn't have the actual current view mode. We would get view. So you would have to make sure that you just set this to not consume input from here. It could still overwrite parents bind, and then you could still put this code in your character class, because I'm not too sure how you'd be able to get this. You want the character, and especially you don't want you want the client's view mode actual enum. It does desired rotation. Like I said, in my case specifically, I won't be using the camera. But yeah, since we can't get the view mode, what I will do is I will unconsume that, and we will put it back into the player character class, where we'll have some sort of, we'll have the view mode and stuff like that. And again, I could look into it. I'm just not too sure for testing wise. There should be a way to be able to get the view mode in the desired, because even though it's replicated, we should be able to get it into the controller class. It's just a test. Oh man, it's almost 11 o'clock. I was hoping to get more done of this today. Just been going slow, I think. Alright, should not save there. Alright, I'll just see if you're doing great. Just listening here. Okay, yeah, sweet. So yeah, I think we're almost done this the actions. We have, yeah, we just got two more. Camera action and the Ragdoll. So we will copy the camera action over. So it's aim, now camera action. We'll go to character, paste, and again the camera action had a hold. Now on the player character, I don't have that hold macro again, so we'll just kind of steal that from here. Copy player character macros, Control V, get the hold there, but we know A lot of stuff doesn't copy over, so I'm missing this retrigger delay. So I'm going to take this retrigger delay, copy, paste, insert that there, hook that up there. Because yeah, the macros don't copy everything over. This is pretty quick to save. I can just close that. Close. And oops, it's actually this far one. Yep, that looks pretty good. Alright. So now that the macro is done, we need that in the inputs. And we are looking at the inputs here, player inputs. And so it's just, yeah, it's just lining up. Hold. So like I was saying, for advanced locomotion system, if you press it, it goes from, and it's held, it goes from first person to third person, but if you just tap it, it goes from the right shoulder to the left shoulder. And we have camera for ours. Again, I don't do just camera action because it isn't. We know it's an input action. It's just redundant. So I just call it the camera. Input action camera. Not input action camera. Action action action. Redundancy. We're gonna make it blue. We'll probably make the top one blue too. Just so they're different and they're pretty. Pretty simple. Alright. Both blue. And last one, Ragdoll. Control C. Back to the player here. Control V. And in this case, again, we do have a Ragdoll event. We just have this test delete event. So just oh, we actually just assigned an actual key to it. He actually just assigned the. So let's see if I made a death event. Do I still have that input? No, I don't have to go file, project settings, inputs, death / Ragdoll. I do. And I did just select to the D key. So we close this. So death / Ragdoll. We'll hook that up. And we'll unhook the delete key for now. And again, it will always set these to 2 for the mini graphs. So we'll just set those back to. Boom. And so that is the player input graph done. All right. Tick. This is the entire tick graph. We just copy the tick. We go to this graph, make a new one, call it, they just call it, yeah, tick graph. It's a graph, so I'm just going to rename it and call it tick. I'm not going to call the graph, I'm not going to, graph, tick graph. This, again, that's a little redundant for me. I'm going to paste it all in here. Now I need the tick and its parent. So I'm going to go to this tick event here. And I'm going to take it out of here and put it in here. And there's his stuff that he does with the tick. So I'll leave that there. I will, before that though, I will call its parent. You could also do it by just sometimes right clicking the actual node itself, call parent. So there's too much stuff to move, so, and I'm running low on time, so I think I'm just gonna leave this as is like that for now. But normally I would sit there and I would touch up all these because they're not in line with a line. So, but that's all there is for that tick graph. Then we have the event graph. Now we already did get the mantle timeline over, so if we go to the event graph, we have that mantle timeline right here. We had to pick up those roll events already, so the roll events are already good. These should be next, so we'll take this whole side here, Control C, we'll go in here, I'm gonna paste that there. One or more nodes were not copied. Ooh, we'll have to look into that. Jump stuff for later. I'll move these guys down here. And we'll start with this here. So change state. It looks the same. I go in here, switch on authority, looks fine. Switch on authority. Remote looks fine. Alright, back to the event graph. Back to the event graph. Look here. Remote authority looks fine. Tick graph, I want to need that. Back to event graph. Alright. Back to event graph. Oops. Back to event graph. Back to event graph. Last one. Back to event graph. That's just parent. That's all I copied was that one side. Maybe it's just complaining about this. What is this? This is the event begin play. Alright. And this is, on event movement changed. Alright, so what we do is we'll do the first one first, begin play, event begin play. We click on that, it's going to bring us over here. And we're going to take this, we're going to move this section to our begin play, and we're actually going to downsize this, swing it over here. So we're going to delete that. It's always good to call the parent class. Some people don't. There's not much going on in the parent's class. And we'll just leave this nice cool color here so we know that it's the advanced locomotion event play. Not too sure why these guys always like to make these massive comment bubbles when it's just small. Alright, the next one was movement mode changed. On movement mode changed. So we're going to right click on movement mode changed. Click that, brings us tight fit. I think we could do it without it being too organized. I think we could do it. We'll bring this over here, slide this over here. I have to get a little bit more room. So then we need this. And we're just going to go across here. Oh, graphical glitch is back. Great. And we're just going to go across here. And we're going to make sure we get this nice little beige comic code over the advanced locomotion system stuff. So we know what code was changed. And we can get rid of this. There we go. Now we just have a little bit more to go. And again, this is the event graph, so this is the last graph. So we have the break fast, now we have the jumping. We already got a little bit of the jumping already. We just need the top part of the jumping. And this point here, copy that. Now we could drag this jump back with the rest of its friends. And then we can just grab this here. Control C, Control V. We throw the jumping right underneath it. And we'll grab this, throw it underneath that. And that's it all. So we'll compile, save. So that's all the base class transferred over. So we just need to finish off with the actual main player class, the child class. And again, because all of the variables and methods and stuff, for the most part, are held into the base class, it shouldn't be as long next video to do that, because I only have 7 minutes left. I won't be able to do that today. But we should be able to definitely do that next time, and that will be the completion, and we will test and stuff like that. So like I said, I already put in a roll animation, So next time I'll show you also how to do rolling, to add rolling to the advanced locomotion with the replication. Okay, just wanted still two? Where are those? Oh, right here. That looks a lot better. And again, once you have everything working, then you can go back and remove any nodes and stuff like that that you know you're not using. Like I said, if you're not using the camera, take away the camera. If you're not using this and that, let me take those away. But the other thing, so now that we're done this, we can close this off. And again, we done the controller work, we done any other animation stuff, the basics. So we're just trying to get the rest of these guys in, starting with the variables to make sure we're not missing anything. And again, a lot of these variables you won't even really need. So you're starting off, this is like can update actor and set player actor and AI. So this has to do with the advanced locomotion's AI stuff, which you probably won't be using. You're probably going to have your own AI because most packs and most things you do are going to have your own AI. It just has some variables just specifically for the getting up. It has a couple of, and so just the animations for the getting up, the animations for the rolls. It has the animations for the mantles, and then it has colors because the advanced locomotion is just like a mannequin. So the mannequin have different colors. And it also gives you just an example of how to change like it has pants colors, but really it's just the bottom half of the mannequin. The components are already going to be attached, so you can see the variables. It's just a couple of animation variables, really quick. The methods, it's just updating the methods sometimes. It's just getting the parent's methods and just clearing objects from the hands of the parent method, and then just setting the animations in. And you can already see that there's like 1/10 of the amount of methods and stuff like that in here, and even the network is just 2 calls. That's it. So like I said, next time we meet up, it's gonna be pretty quick to get all the stuff transferred from the ALS man to the character. But again, so I'll close some of these things off so it's not too much stuff. But again, in the practices that you learn from these 3 videos, because it's going to be a third one, the practices that you get is just how to migrate a lot of the stuff into, especially if you're not too sure how things work and you want to go into it and dive it, how to migrate the stuff into your project. Always start off with the class settings first. Make sure you're adding any interfaces, and again, all the interfaces were added in the base class, so there's no interfaces to add in for this. Checking the defaults, so sometimes there's custom defaults that are set up, but sometimes you won't see these defaults like the roll animations and stuff like that till you get the rest of it sorted out. So but it's good to just check some of the basic defaults to see what's there, because once you add these in, those defaults, because we're copying over, will already be set. So this land roll will already be set because we're copying these land roll defaults into our character. So those will already be set. So it's just like some of the real base stuff that you might have changed. Sometimes like the tick start or if the camera turns on the yaw or what. Then after that you get the settings and the base class defaults. Pick up some of the components like the hand, skeleton, stack, match, visual bones. Once the components are all in, then I would start from bottom to top. You could do, after you get the bottom to top all done, you could always flop back over to class defaults and just do one double take just to make sure everything's set the same. But you're copying, like, again, what you would check here is this rendering. Sometimes you want the actor hidden if it's a special actor that you're populating, and controlling whether it's hidden or not hidden in blueprints that might be clicked, or the collision or the actor stuff. This is default stuff. This is not going to be, this is going to already be in your character. So if I click the default class here and I go all the way down to the bottom, actor, collision, rendering, it's there. So if they do changes to that, that's what you want to fix right away in the defaults. But yeah, it's 11 o'clock. Thank you guys for joining the stream. Again, I will probably be just uploading this to YouTube. I can't see any problem on, just close this here. I can't see anything on why I could just straightly upload it. I might take off this like back half of the video, but I might just upload it just as is. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys have a good one. Cheers.